Hello everyone, it's Roger here from Infinity and Beyond, presented by Vinylmation Kingdom, and you can also see we also have Abe from the team as well on, so say hi Abe.
How's it going, everybody?
Hi there, alright. So Abe is joining me in as my co-host now, so this is going to be our first sort of session doing it together. So it might be a little bit bumpy, but we'll hopefully just try and get through it. The aim
Yeah,
for
we'll make it
today,
work.
oh yeah, the aim for today is to go through a little bit of the news, and then we're gonna just basically just have a little bit of a chat about Disney Infinity. So let's just kick off with the news. Okay, so this week we've had a few little bits of news. It was a bit quieter than I was expecting, but we're going to kick off first off with the news that Toys R Us are bringing out an exclusive Power Disc album, which features 21 discs. I've just put the image up on the screen there now. You can see that it features sort of Iron Man, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, and it's only got but it seems a bit odd that it only had space for 21. I don't know if,
It's an odd number, right?
it's a bit odd. You kind of think of was this just the album number 3 and they've sort of slapped some new images on it?
Yeah, I honestly think it's just a last minute decision. I don't know how they came up with 21, but they decided to go away with the third series, and this is just to please some of the members. But I do like the new portfolio better, personally.
I think as well as if you've already got like the first, already got a few for the first game. It makes sense that you've kind of got an album and people, you sort of pick which way you want to collect your power discs and store them. I mean, I personally went for the capsules, but I didn't go for the.
Yeah,
So it makes sense from that point of view. I think there's still, I think people would have loved to have had the third album. I mean, we still get asked about that probably every week.
yeah, all the time.
It's a constant question. Where's album number 3? Well, they don't seem to have made one. So it would seem
So
a
we're
bit.
gonna magically appear.
Yeah,
So
it's just going to pop up. What's quite funny as well is it's a Toys R Us exclusive. I didn't think they were going to get anything this time round.
yeah, it was interesting. I think because if I'm not mistaken, I think they were supposed to have more discs, and the whole exclusive thing wasn't handled correctly. So maybe this is a compromise. I don't know.
Yeah, that was how I was looking at it. It seems like they went from having loads of exclusives to just this little thing, which is cool. I mean, I think it makes sense for the retailers to get sort of slight bonuses and stuff. I mean, I personally like the look of that big sort of binder that you can put all 40 of them in at once. But like I said, I'm going to keep to the capsules. And
Yeah.
yeah. And speaking of the capsules, I'm going to put up a image here of what Travis picked up today, which is the new green Hulk Power Disc, capsule, which I think is exclusive to GameStop in the United States.
That's correct.
Yeah, I don't got any information yet on if it's going to be out in Europe and who's going to be supplying it, but I suspect we get it. But we didn't get all the coloured ones from from the US. I don't think we had like the gold and the silver versions either. Was that out in the US?
Yeah, maybe. Well, the gold ones were kind of hard to find. I had trouble finding it myself, but I did get the silver. But yeah, the green one looks pretty cool. I did see the darker blue one at E3, and it's cool to have the Marvel figures on them, or the images. So.
I mean, yeah, from my point of view, I'm looking at it. Well, I'm going to try and get a blue and a green one. I need, I'm going to have 40 power discs. Hold them all properly. I might as well have one of each. Would recommend this to everyone: is go out and get as many of the power disc capsules as you can from the first game, that when they're on discount, because they're fine for I picked up a load for a few pound each a couple of months ago, so I don't need any for the Disney side.
Yeah, and then the GameStops in the U.S. and even Toys R Us sometimes have deals on them too, so you can get them like half price off. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's definitely just good to keep an eye out for the sales. So.
And also, I mean, I think sort of the thing of one of the things we're bringing out the new game is it's early. It's coming out early, and one thing of all these power discs popping up in GameStop, I'm going to be a bit cynic here. I think this is a perfect planning from Disney and GameStop to get out the idea that GameStop have got pre-orders, but also people putting up social media. Oh, look what I've got! Look,
Yeah,
it's
I think so too. It's
it
very
doesn't.
strategic.
Yeah, it is. I just sort of saw that and thought that's a quite a cunning little idea. If that was done on purpose, well done. If it was an accident, well, then it worked as well.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Hey, Roger. Well, this is the first hiccup on this one. It sounds like my smoke alarm is going off, so I'm gonna go turn it off.
yeah, you're going to deal with the smoke alarm, so he's going to be coming back in a second. I'm just going to carry on with a little bit of news. As you can see, this is the first live version here. So, also this week we found out for the Toy Box TV, they actually JV and Allison opened up a Toy Box or the Marvel Starter Pack online, and what they did there is Abe's just sat back down, so he's back online. So we'll bring him back up onto the camera.
Sorry about that. It was just the smoke.
Yeah, that's fine. If you're on fire, it was fine. We'll carry on at this end.
Yeah.
So as I said, on the Toy Box TV, they Allison and JV were opening up the starter pack and showing you everything that's inside of it, which I think was a really good idea. I think they are going to have to do sort of little simple things like this just to explain to the casual person what is in it, and just kind of explaining it in sort of simple terms. I mean, there's going to be dozens of unboxing videos coming up in the next few weeks. I'll be doing my own of the collector's edition, but also
you know what, Roger? What I thought about it too is that like Toy Box TV is meant to be part of the community. Like they those videos are more like kind of like come close to home to us. So it's like for them to do an unboxing, it kind of almost feels like they're part of our home and our infinity. So I think it was a really smart move.
Yeah, I think the Toy Box TV is really kind of and they've really kind of embraced the community side of things. I think they've never really had to sort of worry about this before with Disney, and I think they're really kind of hitting the ground running. And they've made little sort of within the community. Allison and JV, they're sort of everyone sort of into toy boxes and stuff, knows them, etc.
Well, no other game does that, and that's why kind of hits close to home. It's just it's something really nice that they do for all the avid players and fans, and obviously that Toy Box Summit was a nice gesture as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just going from strength to strength with embracing the community, and also speaking of the community, they also do a social media spotlight where they show off a few things that the community have been involved with. Which this week you got featured with your image.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you sort of.
Yeah, I ran the Disneyland half marathon for the 9th time, and yeah, it's just. I actually also did a little video and dedicated that run to the teams, from the Infinity team. So, yeah, I just posted a picture of my medal and a few of the figures around it. So it was cool.
Yeah, no, it was
cool to see it on there.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's those sort of Disneyland runs seem to be sort of very, very popular, and I know Matt and Travis from the team also do Disney runs down and Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
No, it's a fun experience. I definitely recommend it for anybody watching. It's just definitely fun. A Disney run is always great. So
that's cool. I think we've got a slight pixelation on Abe's, hence he hasn't just lost his face. He's just yeah, he looks like something out of Doctor Who there at the minute, but I'm sure the stream will kick back in a minute. Also on the Toy Box TV, when they were unboxing it, they were mentioning a poster which they didn't show, and apparently it just includes the Marvel side, which is going to lead us on to something a bit later on, but I think that's done purely from the point of view that there might be something on it that they don't want us to see just yet.
I don't know. I honestly believe the image they showed us is the poster. Because I don't remember them including a poster with all the figures before in the first.
No, they didn't.
No,
I don't. They don't remember having them in the first starter pack.
Yeah, I just think they were just. I don't know. I personally think they weren't really either. Didn't have it there when they were filming it, or maybe you're right. Maybe they were hiding something.
Well, that leads us on to sort of like the big news really of the week. Was JV put out a tweet saying that there would be 4 unannounced figures coming for Disney Infinity 2.0, 2 of which are Marvel, 2 of which are Disney. Now, we've been having a lot of fun over on the Infinity and Beyond Facebook group. Everyone chipping in with their thoughts of who they think it is, why they think this. And it's just been sort of full of speculation, which is exactly what Disney need us to do. We're all talking about the game. We're all still excited. Um, Now, what do you got, Abe, think about that?
Well, first off, I mean, aside from all the speculation I have, I think this is such a great opportunity for them to also kind of investigate what are the figures we're asking for. This is another way for them to find out what can we put in 3.0. But just to leave us speculating on the last four. But personally, I mean, for the Disney side, I honestly can only think of one that might be for sure, which is Milan.
Yeah,
And
that's my pick.
I mean, personally, there's a terrain and there's a sky disc for the Milan. I mean, for Milan in general. Then there was a lot of Milan
Yeah,
catered toys that we saw at the summit, and I don't know. That's just where I'm getting. Plus, he also said it's a strong female, so
yeah,
that's another reason why I
yeah.
go with Milan.
I actually literally
But
just picked that up yesterday on Blu-ray for I haven't had it for a while, but picked it up. But yeah,
oh, it's a good movie.
yeah, we've seen it before. I've been sort of slowly picking up all the classics and trying to build up our collection.
Yeah.
But I think for Mulan, she makes sense because they need the strong female characters,
Yeah.
and
Well,
yeah, carry on.
I was gonna say it makes you think. Well, are they going to do something where they did in the very beginning, where you just have two characters that honestly aren't from the same intellectual property? Like, for example, you had Maleficent and you had Merida. Or are
Yeah.
they going to give us something that goes together? Which means, could we also get Mushu? You know what I mean?
I
Because that
really,
goes with
yeah.
Milan.
Mushu would be a lot of fun. I don't think they're not going to be doing any like toy box packs or twin packs. It's all going to be single figures.
Right.
Um,
Right. But my meaning was, as far as how he said there's two Disney left, or
Yeah.
and two Marvel. I'm thinking, are those two Disney related, or are they just separate IPs? That's what I
Yeah.
was coming from.
I mean,
But
yeah, I kind of think as
go ahead,
well
go
that
ahead.
like Lilo from Lilo and Stitch could be maybe the other one.
Yeah,
That
that's
might make
true.
sense.
Well, I mean, the only other ideas that I had for the Disney side were either Wally and Eve, which would be really cool, or he said strong female, and Eve was pretty strong in that movie.
Yeah,
And then the other one that I can think of would be Meg and Hercules, because she was pretty. She, even though Hercules was a big strong guy, she was kind of almost like the one in control. So
I must
I
admit,
don't know, but that's.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I actually we picked up Hercules on DVD or actually on Blu-ray about a week ago, and me and my wife watched it last weekend. Neither of us had seen it. We completely had managed to miss it. I think when it came out, I think we were both about like 19, 18. So it wasn't the kind of movie you went and saw at the time. And I was
Yeah.
really impressed with it. And I think Hercules could be a real good, strong fit. Not sure about Meg.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's might be a little bit too. There's so many other characters they could put in, but Hercules, I could
Yeah.
easily see that. And also,
Well, the music in there is good too. I mean, and actually thinking about the music in Hercules too, another possibility would be Tarzan and Jane. That would be pretty awesome too.
I don't know whether or not they are specifically going after some of the like the '90s characters, because kids growing up now, they will have been watching them, and rather than maybe the 80s sort of 70s stuff, which is like older guys like myself are more into. I'm thinking, because I was talking to a couple of guys that work with me, they're like 18, 19, and I was talking about like Kronk's New Groove. I was talking about Mulan and things like that, and to them they all
Emperor's
grew
New
up.
Groove?
Yeah, they all
that,
sort
that
of
was pretty awesome.
yeah, they all grew up with them as sort of kids, as youngsters. So I, for my age, I kind of tend to, there was a few years I glossed over them, but I could see the '90s stuff is just as big, maybe not like, whereas we might look at like the afternoons, things like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers in a different way.
See, that would be awesome. Everybody's been asking for Disney afternoon stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't know. When I went to E3 and I had a discussion with one of the producers, they said that Darkwing Duck was like this close to being in the game. So that's why I'm kind of thinking that that we won't have any Disney afternoon stuff at least this time around. But we did get Power Disc, which is cool.
I think as
Um,
well, yeah. They've got years to spread all of this out. They aren't going to
yeah,
put everything out in one foul swoop. They can
yeah,
keep
they
all this for a lot later. They don't need to shove everything down us at once.
yeah they're gonna put all the popular stuff out first and what's relevant, and then they'll start sneaking in all the classics in there. I mean, everybody obviously sees that the focus on Marvel this time around is like, a lost opportunity, but it really isn't. There's just so much IP to spread out throughout the year, so there's plenty of
I mean
time.
that's it. By the time you've still got Fantastic Four and X Men. Obviously, there's issues with them with licensing, but that doesn't to say in 2, 3, 4 years time they can't throw out an X Men set. I mean, they're gonna have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 figures for that alone. That's nearly a whole game in itself.
Yeah, and like, just to clarify for anybody who's still confused about it, and Fantastic Four and X-Men is just clearly film rights. So if Disney really wanted to put out Disney Infinity figures with the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, they could. But personally, and this is just my speculation, is that it's to their best interest at least not to do anything with X-Men or Fantastic Four, because if there's any type of relationship that they have that's closer to bringing back their intellectual properties, it would be Sony, because there's been several news reports, and I mean the movie gurus that I know out here know that Sony and Disney have been trying to get closer, so possibly you might see Spider-Man with the Avengers, who knows? But
Yeah, I think
as
it
far
does.
as
Yeah,
I was gonna say, as far as 20th Century Fox, yeah, I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe they'll sneak in, a Wolverine here or a
yeah.
Storm here, but who knows?
Well, I mean, I was reading, as well. There's so much speculation about what's going on with them. Sort of, while X Men is one of the most popular comics, when Days of Future Past came out, there was no merchandise. They didn't want to. They
Right.
literally just left it well alone. Um,
Yeah, and it's just that. It's just they, obviously they want all the Marvel properties, and I don't blame them. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to have everybody combined. So,
and
but you
also,
know
yeah,
what? Oh, go ahead, Roger.
I
I
was
was
going to say,
actually gonna ask you.
it's that thing as well of, if you've got, 25, 30 different characters that you as a movie producer or as Marvel, if you can't make as much money from Fantastic Four as you could do, say, from introducing a new character, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, why do
Right.
Fantastic Four? And while it baffles heads, they can do it if they wanted to. I mean, I think like the Spider-Man. The reason we've got Spider-Man is the cartoon, the
Yeah,
ultimate.
absolutely. It's the animation series, definitely. But you know what, Roger? Just to go back a little bit on subject, now that you brought up X-Men and whatnot, what's your speculation as far as what the two Marvel unannounced figures would be?
Well, I've got a couple of different mindsets. I'm hoping that we might actually get a like a toy, like the Lone Ranger, where we literally just have two figures with their own Marvel set. Now I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we could maybe see maybe Daredevil and Elektra.
Yeah, that'd
That
be
could
cool.
be a
That'd
cool
be really
little
cool.
combo. You've got a strong female, you've got a strong character. When you're looking at like the Marvel characters of who they can do, you know, they. I think like we aren't going to see an Ant Man because you've got the team up power disc.
Right.
I think if they're going to be doing. I've been looking at what movies they're going to be doing in the future. If they're going to be doing a Doctor Strange and was it the Infamous or sorry, the Inmutants? Sorry, I've never or Inhumans. I've never read that comic, but
The,
Inhumans.
I,
That's the what.
I, I don't know. I haven't really looked into
No,
it
I've been
much.
sort of just trying to work out what they were doing, and apparently that's kind of like a mutanty kind of non-mutant show. I'm going to show how
I
little I
gotcha.
know about them at the minute, and I think Black Panther and Captain Marvel's been brought up. So I think they're going to
Right.
try and introduce something that maybe so they're going to be doing later down the line. They don't need to do it now. So
You know what though? I do remember. I mean, you brought up Elektra and Daredevil. I do remember seeing somewhere, like in one of the Hall of Heroes, where you decorate your own
yeah,
area. up on a hallway, it kind of looked like what was it? Her Elektra's
Yeah,
little
I mean,
scepters or swords or whatever they
yeah, I
were,
mean, she might
or
just be,
sabers. There you go.
yeah, I mean, she might just be like one of the like townspeople that you can put in, because I think there's been a few in there that have popped up, like Wasp and like White
Yeah.
Tiger were two that come to mind. It's kind
Like
of,
personally,
yeah, carry on.
go go ahead. Okay, I was gonna say personally, what I was thinking, obviously when you said Ant-Man, obviously he's already a team of this. There's no way he can become a figure. I was thinking hopefully what Yondu would have been cool, but of course he's also a team of this, so who knows?
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
my speculation was Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah, well, they're in the new Avengers movie coming out next year, aren't they? Because they're kind of,
That's correct.
they were in Dawn of Future Past at the end, or so they were in that, or at least Quicksilver was. But it seems like they're kind of, because aren't they
Yeah, Quicksilver was
Magneto's
in the
kids?
X-Men movie.
Yeah. So it
But
could be.
yeah, and the only reason why I thought that was because obviously, that it shows the possibility of them playing in the Avengers playset, and it also shows them as being possibly crossovers for, let's say, when 3.0 comes out. If
Yeah.
you have another Avengers playset, which would be catered to, the new movie. Um, but I, I am like you, hoping that it's another playset, but who knows?
I think as well as, if they were to put out another playset with those two and literally said, all the Avengers can go in, they've already set it up. There's so
Yeah.
many Marvel figures. It just seems a bit odd that if you've got two left, they don't. There doesn't seem to be a natural place for them, at the minute, from the look of it, in the three playsets we know
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to figure that out myself. Like, I try to, what if have a nebula for Guardians of the Galaxy, or I start looking at all these other possibilities that they could use. Because I mean, having two figures kind of leaves you thinking, are they going to fill the gaps in? Because you technically have seven for the Avengers,
Yeah,
and you have six for Spider-Man. So,
yeah. Are they
um,
going to go to 7?
yeah, seventh in Guardians and seventh in Spider-Man.
Because I was
Yeah,
wondering as well.
that's
Yeah, because whether Power Man might be a nice fit for Spider-Man,
yeah,
but it seems
yeah,
a bit odd
that's
to be like months after the playset come out. It just,
Well, one of the things that I was thinking, Roger, is that the cool thing about them working with Marvel as far as in the game is that, your traditional Disney movie, and let's say you have your Disney playset, you only have one villain, but in Marvel you have multiple villains. What if they introduce a second villain? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, what if you had Doc Ock come out also as a villain in Spider-Man? So you have two playable villains as opposed to
yeah.
your usual one. So I mean, it's just so many possibilities. How they say, infinite possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thought then, looks like Mysterio is one of the villains in the Spider-Man, so he could theoretically, we've already seen images of him in like I saw him in the actual opening credits of when I was playing the Spider-Man playset a few weeks ago, so he could be one of those fits as well.
That's true. That's true. I mean, he could be an NPC. He could not be. I mean, you never know. And plus, also another thing that I was thinking too is on the Spider-Man, because it's based off of the animated series. What if they've been teasing us with an Agent Coulson possible playable figure? You know what I mean? Because he takes part in the cartoon series as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen a little townsperson of him, and
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I think he could do. I mean, personally, as much as he's kind of, I watch Agents of Shield, and I don't know necessarily would I want to use him in a actual game. I don't know. It sounds sort of a bit.
I don't know. I think he's built such a fan base because he's basically been in so much. He's kind of become a sort of a beloved, obviously icon for a lot of the Marvel stuff. But I honestly think I can only think back to the Avengers when he finally came out with that big gun that was usually I think it was manufactured um, I guess retrofitted from a Hydra weapon, and it got turned into a shield weapon, like a Phase 2 weapon or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, point being is that that was kind of cool to see him fight for the Avengers when he shot Loki. And I don't know, it's a possibility.
And also, Andrew has just popped up on the on the chat on the Facebook group, and he's saying telling you Oriana as a peasant is one of the Disney characters JV is hinting at too. So Andrew's got his own hint on. He thinks it's going to be Oriana from Sleeping Beauty could be the female character from the Disney side of things.
Wait,
yeah, the
yeah,
Sleeping
you
Beauty.
mean Aurora?
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Oriana. So it could be Aurora. Yeah, so that was Andrew's guess that it could be sort of Sleeping Beauty, which leads us. I think I remember a long time ago. I think we saw a little bit of like, was it some concept art for her or something like that? But
that's true. That was from the very beginning, way before Disney Infinity came out. The first one, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, but on the same subject as that, I do know that I saw a tweet the other day from JV that someone was asking him about the Oz figures that we saw on the concept art, and he replied saying the concept art was not supposed to have been released. So it's those things. Just because it's concept doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get it.
Right, and that's very true. That's very, very true. Even though Oz, figures would have been cool too. But what about another neglected franchise right now, which would be the Muppets? We're getting a lot of parodists, but we haven't seen any figures.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not I think Muppets could be something they could be saving for a later game. But they could so easily bring out a Muppets playset with 5 or 6 characters, and they could do that in the future. I don't know if they'd necessarily waste it on like 2 or 1 figure now.
Right. I mean, you saw a lot of people wanted also Gravity Falls, but all you guys a lot of toys and parodists, which is still great. I'm excited for Kitty Fists. So those are kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing my. Oh yeah, he's got the disc there.
Yeah, that's Kitty Fist.
Yeah,
those are.
It's one of those things. I mean, I've not really watched Gravity Falls. I'm actually going through a load of the first few episodes of the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. So I kind of got.
I did that too.
Yeah, it's been sort of watching them online just to try and sort of get a little bit, because I'm obviously aware of like Spider-Man and Venom, and sort of that side of things. But Iron Fist and Nova were kind of new to me when they announced.
Which, by the way, I know I'm going off on a little tangent here, but just for everybody who's still confused as to why Nick Fury is a playable figure in Spider-Man and not the Avengers, watch the cartoon series. It'll explain everything.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
I think apparently Marvel specifically requested that. They specifically requested that he wasn't playable in the Avengers playset. I don't quite know why. You can still chuck him in the toy box and they can all do it. It's maybe at the time when they first sort of said that, Marvel weren't fully aware of what the toy box was like.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, it's just. I mean, even everybody goes off of but he was in the movies. He brought them all together. Like, well, obviously, I mean, this is based off of the movies alone and the story that they wrote for 2.0. Nick Fury has always been like a mission giver. He's always been the ones to put them together. And obviously, he's been fighting with them. So.
Yeah, he's like they said. They kind of used him a little bit more proactively in sort of action.
Yeah.
No. Also, I saw a tweet from JV's basically saying that there's only going to be 4 toy box game discs. These are the little discs that you get with the starter pack. There's 2 in the Marvel one, and there's going to be 2 in the Disney starter pack, and they are also going to be available separately afterwards. But there's only going to be 4 by the looks of it in 2.0 total, which I was a bit disappointed about, but JV did say that it was something they're working on for the future.
Hey Roger, I know you tried the Spider-Man set, but did you have time to play in the toy box?
No, when I met up with John Day a few weeks ago, mainly just went through the Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy. We did get shown the toy box, but they didn't. We were just sort of allowed into the play sets.
What I was gonna say is, I kind of having time to experience it a couple of times, I kind of do understand why there's only four toy box discs, because the new toy box is pretty broad. It's there's so many new things in there. Like, a lot of people want more play sets, but you got to understand this toy box is massive. I
Yeah.
mean, you could create your own play set if you really wanted to.
I think that's the thing. I think there's been a lot of people sort of moaning about not having the Disney playsets, and I think because we're kind of comparing it to the first toy box, and I think it's when we start getting these weekly challenges, and you've got all those templates, we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna be quite as disappointed, but it's gonna take a lot to get people over it because they got so used to the, if you were like me when I first got the game, you went into the playsets and you played and you went into the toy box and you just empty space and you put a few things down and go, well, this isn't exact. And the first few toy boxes before the community started making them weren't very playable, really.
Yeah, they weren't, and I honestly think, obviously it's the first game.
Yeah.
It's a work in process, and it got better over time. But after experience it now, like, so many things that just made the first toy box a little bit difficult for a lot of us, people who prefer the play sets. Um, this is a game changer. Like, for
Yeah.
me, honestly excited for the toy box a lot. In fact, I kind of already challenged. Actually, no. First, I asked Mighty Jidus to mentor me, but then I also challenged her. I told her that the next toy box I probably will be there to try to take her crown. So
Yeah, good
it's
luck
just
on that one. I
it's just a
think
toy box
you're gonna need
experience.
it. I mean, I know even myself. I tried making a toy box a few weeks ago, and trying to make a racetrack, and I was like 2 hours into it, and it was like, this is just I just don't have the time to sit there and put. I think John was on the Facebook group talking how he spent like 18-20 hours putting together a challenge. I mean, that takes some serious doing in the first game, and I just loved it. I saw it on the second game where I got shown in the toy box. He literally pressed a button and built 2 racetracks in about 30 seconds,
Yeah,
and I was just like,
exactly.
yeah, that's me. I can do that.
That's
Because you
why
can
it's so much more appealing.
you can build a racetrack, and then you can set all the stuff around it and edit it and do what you want. But it's I think the toy boxes are gonna get very, very good once people start getting the hang of it. But the simple tasks, and also this thing of being able to share between friends, because we've got it up on the Facebook group now,
Yes.
where in the files tab, we've got everyone's IDs according to the console, but also you can start adding your Disney ID, so we can actually share toy boxes amongst each other. Just because it's not been featured in the toy box doesn't mean that you can't share it with friends and people on like our group, etc., which I think is really exciting. And you
I
don't
still
even have to
I
be
still
on the
need to
same
put my
console.
screen name up there.
Sorry.
I said I still need to put my screen name up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact of being able to share cross-platform. So if I'm on the PlayStation 4 and somebody's on the Wii U, we might not be able to play against each other traditionally. I can still create a toy box and send it to them, and they can, or put it up on my cloud, and they can download it and play it. Which I think is going to change how people share these toy boxes, and specifically amongst the community. You're not always just
Oh no,
about
yeah.
and I think just in general, just sharing toy boxes, and just being a little bit more sort of, being able to play against each other and a little less restrictive.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an exciting change, because that was one of the biggest complaints, just not being able to really share to who you wanted to, um, and I'm excited for it. There's just so many ideas that have been churning, and a lot of people that I've been talking to, so we can play together on our own, made toy boxes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'm just happy there's an undo button, because that was my frustration in the very beginning.
And
I
I
just
think,
made
yeah.
one mistake and, like, oh, here, pull out the wand, and okay, here we go.
For me, it was all like the logic toys of trying to work it all out, and it just seems that I mean, the amount of toy boxes, because I play through them all every week, and
Mm.
sometimes you fall into like a backstage, and there's like 50 things all glowing, and you're like, oh, I better not go anywhere near them. And I literally leave the areas like, if I go in there, I'm gonna mess this up completely.
Well, the beauty of the new toy box too is that you won't see that anymore. I mean, you'll have one logic toy controlling so many actions instead of having like 50
Yeah,
logic toys.
and you can
So
make things invisible as well.
exactly, exactly. And
The
that's
yeah.
just another great thing about it.
Do you know what? The one thing I'm really looking forward to is the invisible wall. So when I do these 2D
Yeah,
games, I don't fall off every single time I move, because I play it and I fall
yeah,
off. I play it and fall
that was a
off.
big one.
Yeah, it's just there was one in this week's Toy Box Challenge, and I must have fought. And in the end, I found the quick cheat of, if I kept swapping the characters, it flipped it back to the 3D mode, so I could
You
actually
know what, Roger?
keep it.
I was gonna say it wasn't even just the toy boxes. Like some of the character specific challenges, the ones that
Oh,
you
Anna's
earned.
one was, yeah,
Yeah, like there was times where like it was impossible to get the gold star because you would fall off the edge, and it was one of those
yeah.
2D side scrollers. So
I mean,
yeah,
I
I'm just
grew up
glad that.
with 2D4, Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog. That's what I, that's what I was used to on the NES. Showing my age there. That's, to me, that
Yeah.
is gaming, and the idea of having a side-scrolling game is fantastic. And it was just so frustrating just to have this whole thing of just falling off constantly, because it was like, oh, I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Man, that invisible wall is going to do wonders. And the fact that you can also make it the size that you want to, you don't have to keep placing wall after wall. That's just that's going to make it so much easier too.
Right, okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to quickly just go through this week's toy boxes. So just bring that up there now. We had come out of the toy boxes yesterday morning. You had to push the start button and follow the flags. This one was, we also had Heroes Rush, where you're late and you've got to get to the race quickly, but don't forget to pick up a coin at Heroes. Quite often I find, I think my PlayStation controller, I have actually figured back down to 0 when I changed over to get ready for 2.0. So all I've had for days and weeks have been the PlayStation going off in the background with this sort of fan technique, and my character just keeps falling off the edge. So I had to, and like it's not a good idea.
No, well, they fixed that.
We'll we'll leave that tease for next week, because we've
Yeah, that's why I would just put it up.
yeah,
Oh,
he's got a few figures there that so, including Spider-Man and stuff.
done a few things, so
Yes,
just so I can get coverage.
yeah, so Hollywood and San Francisco, that was great. But it's one of those things. I think we're literally a couple of weeks away now. For
Yes.
literally,
Just sign the waiting list. But
yeah.
I'll ship it at cost.
It's really bad, because I think I understand they've moved the movie back for the kids' holidays. In today's modern thing of why we're still getting delays like this, because if any Disney fan, they're gonna watch the movie sort of before it comes out at the cinema. Whereas if they put it out at the same time as the US now with the internet, it seems a bit old fashioned to do that now, to be honest.
Yeah, you just, I mean, the movie industry is different in obviously each continent. So I don't know why they make those decisions, but like I said, if you can't wait, just send me a
Yeah.
message.
But it was the thing as well of, I used to do that with DVDs, where the movies like 10, 15 years ago were out in the US months before they were out here, and it was cheaper for me to import the DVD when it officially came out than go to the cinema, which
Yeah.
nowadays is less of an issue. The dates have changed, but yeah, I think it's going to be 2015 for those two figures in the UK, but I don't know. I mean, it's really hard. I think until you see the actual movie, it's always hard to be that excited about characters. Like last year with Anna and Elsa, I don't think people were like, well, who are they? They didn't really make a lot of sense.
No, that's true. That's very, very true. No, actually, that's exactly how I was with Guardians of the Galaxy. Once I saw the movie, I'm like, I know the game hasn't come out yet, but I already want the figures. So
I mean that
it's gonna
Guardians of the Galaxy movie was so good. I really enjoyed it, and I think with it being such a huge movie, they really did luck out with having that sort of set ready game to come out with all the figures, and I think it's going to be hugely
Exactly.
successful. I mean, I
No,
actually
yeah,
think they might be more popular than the Spider-Man playset at the minute.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it is too. In fact, I think we did a poll recently, and who's gonna play what playset first, and I think unfortunately Spider-Man was in the very bottom.
Yeah, I
But
think it's really bad.
Avengers and Guardians were like
But
back and
also,
forth.
I was thinking like, we've had so many Spider-Man games over the years that although it's new for Infinity, we've all, I've played through, countless Spider-Man games. So, but playing Guardians of the Galaxy, brand new. That's all new.
And it's not just that too. I mean, we've already had 5 movies too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's just I don't know, people are wanting to gravitate to the new and
yeah.
start to let go of the old.
Well, that's the good thing with I think with Infinity is with like including like Hero and Bimax, they're kind of
Yeah.
doing a nod. It's got to be better to have 2 figures and maybe a toy box or two or a little playset than some really bad straight movie game that no one ever really wants. And that's why Disney were losing so much on their interactive side, was doing generally bad movie tie-ins.
Yeah, and the cool thing too is that they're actually, they're taking risks. I mean, a lot of the figures that they released were even before the movies came out, and they did great representing the movies that weren't released yet. I mean, like Lone Ranger unfortunately flopped in the movie theater, but the playset was amazing.
The playset was
And
really good.
yeah, and then I remember watching something regarding the Guardians of the Galaxy where the movie hadn't come out yet, and they had to finish most of the playset
Yeah.
already. And once they saw the movie, they're like, "Hey, we did good. That's pretty close." So
But also, I think going forward in the future, I know there was an interview where like JV and John Blackburn were talking about going and visiting the Lone Ranger set in person and being able to do it in advance. And they were trying to convince them, the guys of what Disney Infinity is. Well, going forward, it might be easier for them to explain Disney Infinity because they've got a past record rather than the Lone Ranger and Frozen, which were, I think I remember him talking about Frozen where Elsa did her foot stamp and it iced out. They didn't even really know that was in the movie till they saw it. It was all a bit, I think, just luck that they got some of it right.
yeah, no, yeah, they've done a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are overcritical and it's always I want, but honestly,
Yeah.
they deserve a lot of
I mean
gratitude.
that's
So
the thing. I mean there's the amount of work that goes into this game with all the whole team and everything in it. And it's I always say you can please most of the people most of the time, but you will never be able to please everybody. You can have they could put up a question there and say right, the top 50 characters will come out. Whoever goes to 51 will moan that one didn't go in.
yeah,
They just can't
it's so true.
they can't please everybody. It wouldn't be possible. And if they brought out the amount of figures that for every character that everybody wanted all at once, people would be complaining it's too much and they can't afford it. And why have they done everything at once?
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
Yeah,
It's just it's either you're happy or you're not. But honestly, just be thankful what you got. You know what I mean? This game probably wouldn't be in existence if they wouldn't have seen what they did with Toy Story 3 in the video game and
yeah.
taken a risk. So
I mean, this whole sort of risk has completely paid off for them big time. Um,
yeah,
and I must admit, I'm sort of looking at going well. Okay, at the minute we've got like 30, 40 figures in our boxes or on shelves, and they're about to add another 35 to our collection. I think by the time we get to like 6.0 or something, we're gonna have hundreds of characters, and going well, why do you won't be
yeah.
missing it in the long run. We'll look back and go well, they'll get there eventually.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I have all of. Well, actually, I have DI 1.0 behind me, and it's not even all of them. I mean, there's a lot.
Mine actually are all in boxes down beside the back of my chair. I have a huge Vinylmation collection of a few hundred, and I've got a display case in the living room, and I've got a display in the sort of the spare bedroom. I literally don't have any more space to put things out for display, and my wife would also, as basically, yeah, I can only put so much stuff out, and the Infinity ones have to go away in the corner, and I've got basically a little box for Skylander stuff that's shoved behind the back of the sofa. I just can't put everything. I just can't put everything out. You can't, it's not like I'm a, you know, a kid with a bedroom where you can do it. You know, it's a little bit
Yeah.
different.
No, I wish I had that bedroom.
Yeah, my wife already talks about the spare room looking like, you know, like sort of like just basically like my kid's bed is, just like, you know, just full of, you know,
Did she
Vinomations
sit
and
you
pop.
down and did she sit you down and say, Roger, we have to talk. This is getting out of hand.
Yeah, yeah, and hence why I managed to, I got rid of a few hundred Vinomations, and we went to, and I treated her to a trip to Disneyland Paris. Though I did kind of want to go myself, but yeah, I did have to have a bit of a clear out because
Wow.
I got a little bit out of hand, and I'm looking at, it's like now she's just looking at my entire collection, going, I could pay for another holiday now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so no. Anyway,
My
guys,
response would be,
oh, carry on.
I was gonna say my response would be, just wait a few more years, so it will be worth a little bit more.
Yeah, I think she'll just, yeah, oh, okay, we'll just sell them then to go on holiday. Okay,
Yeah,
so what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap this up. I'd like to thank Abe for joining the this webcast as the co-host. As you can see, we went a lot longer today, which I was expecting than usual, because having somebody to talk to generally does sort of make it hopefully a lot more enjoyable for you guys to watch. You can get in touch with us in lots of different ways. You can find us on Twitter at Vinimation King. Both Abe and myself are both on Twitter personally as well. I'm at Rog Palmer UK. Abe, you are at
At Abe Junior 22, so ABEJR22.
Yep. So, and also Vinimation Kingdom is on Instagram, and you can also find us on Twitch, where we'll be doing some live streaming. Abe's going to be joining me on that at some point as well. Once, so that'll be good. So we'll all be using that, and bits and pieces also will be coming onto YouTube. So remember to hit the subscribe button for all of that, so you could give this video a thumbs up, because that helps us a lot as well. And finally, check us out at the website Vinimation Kingdom and our Infinity and Beyond Facebook group. We just went over 2,000 members this week, so a huge thank you to everyone in there. And you know that's a really big sort of, that's a nice, now we, you know, we go past one and now we're like, now we want more, you know. So that is really good. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll just let Abe get in a word in.
Yeah, thank you guys. Just keep tuning in. We're gonna try to do this. Well, at least I'm gonna try to join as much as I can, and I'm excited. Infinity's almost here.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
No, it's good. So we've been live from England and Los Angeles, and thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.